Gentleman from Arizona is recognized, Mr. Biggs.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's good to see all of you again, and hopefully we have an even better outcome this coming year than we had last time. So let's just talk about this for a second. Is the idea that an executive agency is going to have a manager, a supervisor, review to determine whether you should actually have access to sensitive data, is that the same thing as an independent judicial body requiring you to produce probable cause in order to get a warrant to search for that same sensitive data? Just each one of you, is that the same thing?
Not at all.
Yeah.
It may be useful, but the process the Constitution puts in place for dealing with those kinds of controversies is that the Article 3 branch serves as an independent check on the executive branch in order to ensure that Americans' privacy is protected, and we shouldn't abandon that lightly.
Others quickly.
I would quickly say where you stand on an issue depends on where you sit. I rarely had any supervisor that pushed back against any request I had to approach either the grand jury or a judge for a warrant.
Yeah, I agree with what's been said. I think that simply having a manager in place doesn't go and have the same kind of protection as a judge.
Ms. Goyton.
I couldn't agree more, and also it's a different standard. Probable cause is a very different standard from reasonably likely to produce foreign intelligence.
Yeah, it's not only a different standard, it's a different entity that the Constitution has established to protect the rights of all people, guilty and innocent. It protects everybody's rights. But when we say, okay, we're going to allow the FBI supervisor, we're going to trust the FBI supervisor, hey, have they been approved by either the voter or by the House of Representatives? No. They've been hired by somebody. They're working in the same agency, ostensibly with the same objective, rather than the objective of protecting rights. So that's an interesting dichotomy there. The next thing is, when we get to this notion of the Fourth Amendment not for sale. Have you seen instances where the federal government or state or local government has attempted to go around constitutional protections by buying data from private entities and then circumventing the Fourth Amendment requirement? Ms. Goyton.
It happens constantly. The Supreme Court has held that cell phone location information, historical cell phone location information in sufficient amounts, a week's worth of historical data, is protected by the Fourth Amendment, and that the government actually needs a warrant to compel production of it. And yet, multiple federal agencies, the FBI, DEA, Secret Service, different components of DHS, Department of Defense, IRS, I think mostly all of them, are buying access to vast databases of Americans' cell phone location information.
So we also know that the definition of query is now under dispute, apparently. Can you expand on that, Mr. Sherry? You touched on that. Can you expand on that just for a sec?
Apparently what the FBI did recently is they started treating a mechanism by which they sort data in the database, which of course requires them to look at the names and identifying information about specific people, but apparently they have some kind of a sorting process that they go through in looking at the data, and they don't count the sorting as a query. They only actually count as a query when they drill down on a specific individual. And
so there is no way to determine how many actual, what used to be called queries, are taking place under the new system. We don't know. But
That's
they
exactly
reported,
right.
the IG just reported a couple months ago that it was 9,000. 9,000. Right. So let's just assume, arguendo, that is the correct number. Well, then that is a manageable number to require a judicial warrant before you conduct that query. Is it not, Mr. Tolman?
It absolutely is. And in fact, my conversation with a former Chief Justice of the FISC was his greatest concern was the fact that there was so much pressure to grant everything that was presented to them that they didn't have the ability to review it thoughtfully. Now they do.
My time has expired. There's so much more I would like to ask, but Mr. Chairman, I have some articles I'd like to include into the record, if I might.
Sure.
This is a truth from April 10th, 2024, from President Trump saying, "Kill FISA. It was illegally used against me and many others. They spied on my campaign." This one is entitled, "Warrantless FISA searches are unconstitutional," judge says, in landmark ruling.
Without objection.
Government surveillance erodes trust between citizens and government.
Without objection.
More than 30 bipartisan organizations urge Congress against reauthorizing spy powers in the spending bill.
Without objection.
And then and one entitled "Curbing the Power of Surveillance States," Section 702 reform. And
Without objection.
thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, I would just add,